Okay, I have 2 days of food. I did my laundry in a sink, and I got a shower and a nice night's sleep, and I have no idea where I'm sleeping tonight. This is one of those sections where there is no, clear place to stay at the 25-ish mile mark. So I'm just going to go and see. There are some possibilities of churches in the area. The one that's listed in the nominal guide for this section doesn't seem to exist anymore, so I'm just going to play it by ear. Also, if I can find a forested section, I'll just pull over there, but you got to be careful with that. I don't want to get a gun pulled on me because I was in somebody's private area. A coffee shop, a Mexican food place, and a cheapish motel. This is my type of trail town. Okay, finally on a bit of a quieter street here. You can see the yellow blaze marking the turn. That's better. So who would have thought that the nastiest tasting water I have had in recent memory would come from a hotel? So I actually had somebody stop and chat with me who recognized that I was on the Eastern Continental Trail. That's the first. So I just passed the Mount Zion Church and I stopped at the gas station next door called the One Stop, and I was just buying something to drink, and the guy there was super nice. Apparently if I was camping here, they'd actually let me sleep in their fellowship hall, which is a really nice offer, and I would totally take them up on that if they were just 15 miles north of here. Oh well. Just had another really friendly guy in an ATV show up and just asked if there was anything I needed. He's another that would have let me camp there if I was just later in the day. If it continues like this for the rest of the day, I'm not going to have to worry at all about finding a place to camp. And then avoiding the occasional posted no trespassing bits, there's all sorts of stealth camping options. So I'm not having any luck finding contact information for any of these churches. This is first free well of Dozier. I came up just to try and get water, but it looks like the water's shut off, so onward it is. Interesting. Well, I really hope the water's here on at this one. I haven't even been able to find somebody at home that I could ask for water. Okay, so the churches are not the churches I've been used to in Florida that had contact phone numbers and running water on the outside. I just went to Spring Hill and Zion, and they both didn't have any faucets on the outside. I finally found one at this radio tower here, so I was able to fill up, so now it's just a matter of finding some place to sleep for the night. Okay, I found an ATV park on the map. I got a hold of somebody, asked if I could maybe find some place to stay, and I'm waiting for a call back. I keep ducking off into the woods around here, but I keep finding private property and no trespassing signs. So I'm currently sitting right inside the gate at the ATV park, figuring that that's not as much trespassing as like wandering around trying to find somebody. But of course, I was able to get a call out to their number, and they were going to check, see if it was okay if I stay here, and now I have no reception no matter what I do. So I'm currently trying to get Jen to get a hold of somebody so I can find out if I have permission or not. Otherwise, I don't know where I'm going. It's going to be kind of sketchy if I have to go off the road here. Okay, per InReach relay, I can stay at the pond by Monica's house. I just have to find Monica's house. I'm going off kind of vague directions here, and I still don't have cell coverage. Okay, so this is where I was told to go. So I'm guessing in a minute I'll either have a place to stay or I will be shot at because there was miscommunication. And here I am set up by a pond, which I dearly hope is Monica's. I haven't heard from anybody since I got here. I don't really want to go bang on the front door and bother anybody, but I was kind of hoping, you know, while I was doing coffee, I'd get to at least say thank you to the people that let me stay here. Hopefully Jen was able to. Anyway, back on the road today. It does look like, according to my last weather report, the rain is going to start tonight, and I may have 2 days of kind of rough weather, which, yeah, it'll be interesting. Considering how stressful last night was, I am going to be a little more aggressive trying to find places to stay at night ahead of time. Okay, found a super nice country store, got a second breakfast of more sugar, and got word that, yeah, there's weather coming. It's going to be kind of rough. Probably worse on Thursday, but starting tonight. So we'll see how this is going to go. Also, they had also run into others who were doing the trail. This seems like there's significantly more of us on the Eastern Continental Trail than usual. Now, granted, significantly more of us still means probably under 10 total. But, you know, for a trail where 1 or 2 people a year probably do it, that's a pretty big increase. I still think it's just with COVID and everything disrupting everybody's lives, there's more of us who have the time to go do something big like this. One of the ladies at the grocery store mentioned the guy ahead of me may be catching a train up somewhere else, so I may or may not run into him. So here's the difference between the Florida Trail and the Alabama Roadwalk. I'm pretty sure if this was the Florida Trail, I would be waist deep in that bog. Instead, road. Well, it sure does feel like something's blowing in here. So you see this abrasion on the arch of my foot? This was a real problem on the PCT, and I could never figure out what was doing it. It seemed like it was always after, 15 miles or so, and I would end up with it all across here. I can feel my sock moving a little bit. I've tried to adjust the sock and see if that was it. I really don't know. I mean, these are different shoes, different socks. I've got a Superfeet sole in here. This is really frustrating. It's also really hard to tape in this area just because it tends to move. I'm going to try taping here and see if that'll at least help this. Yet another church without any sort of contact info. Though the good news is at mile 87, Jen was able to find a church that would respond over, I believe, Facebook Messenger. So I have a place to stay. I've just got another 10 miles or so to go. And I think the rain is going to hit before that. So this should be an interesting evening. 2 o'clock and just starting to sprinkle on me. So at least as of 2011, the people here were super hiker friendly. Gave a shower and a bunch else. But as with the others, couldn't find contact info. So I just got to make it another 7 miles or so. Well, that was the nastiest dog encounter I've had. That thing was snarling and snapping at me from just my pole. I didn't spray him, but yeah, if I didn't have my pole, I'm not sure I could have kept him off me. Frickin' dogs. It has been raining a whole hell of a lot, and I have had zero protection. I'm currently set up under the eaves of Union Baptist. It's really nice of them to let me stay here, but you can kind of see behind me, everything's starting to flood, so this is kind of my only option here. It's now looking like the rain is going to last for the next 2 days, followed by Thursday the chance for some really severe weather. So I may have to find some place to hunker down, which is kind of a problem because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. It's going to get interesting, huh? And there's even a nightlight for me. Great conditions. Okay, well, that was a bit of a rough night between the rain and the wind and everything. You might notice my rain fly is off. That's because the wind came through so heavy and I wasn't able to keep it on. I don't have stakes in, obviously, since I'm on a cement porch. So I had it tied to a few places, but it just wouldn't hold and it was flapping like crazy. Also, with the street light back there, I figured my best chance was I have earplugs in, and then I'd just pull this down over my face and get some sleep. So, survived the night at least. So it started raining really heavily yesterday, which is why the video all of a sudden cut to me on the porch of this church in Honorville. The weather forecast has been kind of all over the place. Literally, it was pouring last night, and dark sky was telling me it wasn't raining, so I'm not quite sure what to believe. There is the potential for some severe thunderstorms on Thursday, so I'm kind of thinking I need to hunker for that. But yesterday I was seeing it say that today it was going to rain all day and be a significant amount of rain, and after that storm yesterday I was thinking, well, maybe it'd be better to just hunker for a day. The forecast has changed like 4 times since then, and it's not raining for the moment, so now I'm kind of thinking I should push on. So here's where I stayed the night. I would have normally looked for, a flat piece of ground, but everything was either a cemetery or underwater, so this ended up being my best bet. And I appreciate that I had it. I mean, it was pretty rough out here. So I would be lying rather excessively to say I'm in high spirits at the moment, but what you gonna do? Just gotta push on. If I can make 20 miles today, there is a hotel 17 miles the following day. Now it does look like this big storm everybody's talking about is gonna roll in around noon on Thursday. So I'll probably get a little wet, but hopefully I can be dry that night when it gets to its worst. And if not, I'm sure it will be memorable in hindsight, right? So I am making an attempt to dry some layers off as I walk here, but I think positive thinking is doing more than having it on the outside of my pack here. Plus, it's quite possible the rain's going to start again anytime now. Really enough to make a guy miss the PCT, where it's usually always dry and you can get your layers dry at any time. See, why can't more people have cats? I don't get attacked by cats. Meanwhile, everybody with a dog that they haven't chained cruelly to something seems to be chasing after me here. So I've seen a lot of whatever those are with the gourd-looking things hanging off of it. Kind of curious what they are, if anybody knows. Okay, so I got pizza, and apparently there's somebody up ahead who's hiking the trail that I may actually catch up with. Good news is it seems like at the moment the weather's actually going to hold off, so I don't have to worry about rain probably until tonight. And I got a hold of some folks with some advice about places I could potentially stay tonight. Unfortunately, that also came with word that there's, I guess, a big pack of dogs up ahead. I had a lady just stop and ask if I was doing the Appalachian Trail. Had to correct her on that, and she just seemed confused. She asked if I was with the guy up ahead, and then offered to give me a ride to the end of the road. I had to explain that, I'm kind of doing the walking from Key West to Canada thing, so getting a ride for any length is kind of cheating. So a woman with the last name of Looney just stopped by, gave me some drinks, and gave me a few phone numbers to help get contacts with people up ahead. So that was nice of her. Also, apparently, there's a hiker, Mr. Ed, who is 3 miles or so ahead of me. And there are some aggressive dogs that I got warned to be ready for. Good times. Well, that's a first. I got offered somebody's pistol to protect me when I went through the dogs ahead. Magnolia, pretty name, kind of a rough area, feels like. Oh well. The joyous smell of dead things. I swear most of the animals I've seen on this trip are roadkill. So I'm just entering Montgomery County, and I believe I'm about halfway through this whole road walk. The exact mileage where it turns into the Pinhoti, I'm not really sure on. I've seen different numbers in my notes. So this is Mountain Hill Baptist, where I apparently do have permission to stay if I wanted to. It's actually kind of nice here, it feels mountainy. But I think I can get some more miles in before the rain starts, so just gonna take a break and then push on. So, per that guy, the section of road that I walked around because there were notes in the track that the Pinhoti Outdoor Center sent me had 3 rather nasty dogs. So I'm glad I got to avoid that, huh? Nice guy. I think he was related to the lady from earlier. Offered to pick me up and take me to his church to go to services, but not really my thing. So I think I'm going to stick with my plan. Do another 4 miles, and there is a Baptist church that allegedly is okay with us camping there. So we'll see. Okay, Friendship Baptist Church. About mile 110 or so, with conveniently located cemetery, as usual. I am told I have permission to stay here, so home sweet home for the night. Hoping they have water. Otherwise, I'm going to be drinking out of that puddle right there. So one of the things of setting up at these churches is if they don't give me a specific instruction of where to set up, I have to kind of look around and try and pick the best option. I looked back there, but that tree up there is actually rotten, and if there is a storm tonight, I'm worried that might fall. Also, that is a floodlight, so I would ideally be far away from that. This was kind of the best. It's tilted a bit, so the water's not going to pool up, and I'm not visible from the road, which is always just kind of a basic safety thing. Over here, there's not a faucet I can use, but it is kind of squishy all over, so no good here. Somebody pinged me and said there's hail in the forecast, but honestly, I have no idea what's in the forecast. And the forecast doesn't necessarily seem to equate to what actually happened, so we'll see how it goes. I guess worst case, I can go hide under the eaves in the front.